Hello, my name is Katie Morse, and this is Songbird Mansion 401 progressing into 404. So, for the past 15 weeks, I've added a lot of cool features into Songbird, actually honing in on the mechanics and actually making them look better in general. So, starting off, I'm going to talk about the character itself. So, I had to reprogram this. Um, we first had a third person character that every time you flick the controller, they would go back and they would scream. Now I have it in first person. I tested it and actually helps with immersion and it actually looks a lot nicer and cleaner. Also, too, the player doesn't get distracted and you don't get those weird clips when you go around certain corners in the mansion level. Um, Also, too, now when you flick back, it says I'm scared. It's nothing extremely loud or distracting. You can still hear the level itself. The more you flick back, of course, the louder the noise gets. Also, too, you'll see in gameplay where it will turn white instead of red. There's a lot of reds in this level, so I thought a white would set itself apart. It's no longer also the monster mode. Essentially, it's basically like you're getting scared. So it's kind of like it's a the character's not being penalized or having any negative effects. At least so far they're not. When they get scared, but it does show them that they are slowly stressing. That might change in 404. It might change that mechanic. They actually revert back to what I had before, where you actually have it does have a negative effect when you do that. Um, but in that, moving forward, so now we have actual particle effects. We no longer have HUD displays. The only HUD displays we currently have are on the stressful events, which I'll get to in a moment. So with the particle effects, it's still the same. Uh, Green means you're going the correct direction towards the end. Now we have a new one as well. We have orange, which represents stressful event and a time kind of to warn the player you're going through something stressful. Then you have white, which means you're going absolutely the wrong way and you should turn back. But if you want to venture off, that's okay. Also, too, when the enemy gets into the particle range, some of the particles that we see here will actually turn red. Not all the particles turn red. I did want the player to be able to still navigate even when they have the enemy behind them, or they're trying to run away and they want to see what color or what direction they go towards. This definitely helps them out. Now moving on to the stressful event. Now with stressful events in 404, I will probably be adding at least two stressful events to help out instead of the player just staring at a portrait or walking along the hallway and having to press R1 rapidly before the bar goes down. Um, so such as like collapsing things or an event where enemy spawns spontaneously in one spot. For now, we have the portrait sew and I actually got them to work. I was really excited when this started to work. I really got excited because I never have been able to do this before in my previous dream levels. So also too, when the player stands at a stressful spot, so if they just stare at the portrait, constantly press R1, there is going to be a screen that's let out, a noise that's let out to kind of motivate the player to move along. Also, too, if an enemy is behind the player and you have to go through a stressful event, the enemy now has an effect on the player. This bar will go about, I believe, right here, about 30 or 40, and they can only go to 60. So what that means is it cuts the bar in half. So they're more likely to get stressed out really quick, a lot quicker than before, versus if they didn't have the enemy behind them and they can navigate around and try to lose the enemy, then they'll have a full bar and they'll have plenty of time to be able to stay calm in the event. Also, too, in monster mode, we finally got that working. After two times that you die from stress, you'll go into monster mode. Now, I mentioned this previously in the first pitch of 401 that I did kind of want to keep it permanent. Well, I decided from that I kept it permanent to an extent. So after you die twice, you get the monster mode, but you can find a certain area in the mansion at the level, a little portal thing. You can go to it and it clears it up. but the minute you go to a next stressful event, you go back into monster mode. So essentially, you can relieve it to navigate your way through the mansion, but the minute you have to go through a stressful event, it's going to turn back on. Now, the particles and everything are still seeable. You can still see things clearly. The only difference is it's completely changed the color of the background. It's like red. Also, too, your camera is really, really shaky. It's kind of to emulate like how the heavy steps, especially the big monster, how he like steps down. And then I did add the orange to like give notice for the player to notice it. And we also have the white particles over here. Also, I forgot to mention with the green particles, I actually did the sound design of it. I actually messed around with the sound design in Dreams and was able to create a pretty cool sound you'll hear in gameplay. Then you got your white, and we still have the two same monsters. We have the big guy that's really slow, and then we have the small guy. He's over here in the corner. And we still have the same portal. It's in the center. Now I moved it. I also rearranged all these buildings, or not buildings, but hallways, to make it easier for the player to navigate forward. Also, too, I put it in a way where if you take the shortest route, you have more stressful events. You're more likely to be stressed out if you go the shorter way. If you go the long way, it's still stressful, but it's not as bad as these three. And if you go to white way, there's hardly any stress, or the wrong way, there's hardly any stress, but you will encounter the big guy a lot more through this area. As you can see, this kind of short turns, so he definitely will follow you for a little bit. But other than that, I believe I covered everything. Yeah, I believe I covered everything. I hope you enjoyed my video, and I hope you enjoyed the gameplay. And if you have any questions, let me know. Thank you for watching.
I'm scared. 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 I'm scared.
I'm back again. I hope you enjoyed the gameplay of the game. So, what happened during gameplay, for some apparent reason, my red particles didn't show up when the enemy was around it. So, I went back in and fixed it after the video, and now I can show it off to you. I realized some particles were off. Actually, some of the particles weren't connected properly, so I reprogrammed them really quick. You see the little red monsters right here. The green particles are green, but once I step in it and he steps in it, it turns red, as you can see. So the particles are still green, and it plays that daunting noise.
I'm scared.
And this is supposed to let the player know that they are in the hallway, and they're really close to them.
I'm scared.
But other than that little break, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you enjoyed my rest of my presentation. Thank you for watching.